My name is Stephanie Stevens, and I'm a planner with the City of Wheat Ridge Community Development Department. I'm presenting case number ZOA-20-03, which is a code amendment related to the form and timing of cash in lieu payment for parkland dedication requirements. Having implemented the parkland dedication requirements for over 5 years now, staff has reviewed the fee structure and procedure and is recommending minor updates related to the form and timing of cash in lieu payment. This code amendment is a follow-up to a study session that was held on June 1st to discuss these issues. In 2014, City Council adopted an ordinance and supporting resolution which revised the city's subdivision regulations to set forth consistent and defensible parkland dedication requirements and to establish fees in lieu. The intent of the subdivision code rewrite in 2014 was in large part to align the city code with the reality that Wheat Ridge is a largely built-out community focused on redevelopment and infill projects. The subdivision regulations are intended to be streamlined, well-organized, predictable, consistent, and equitable. In doing the research that resulted in the ordinance and resolution that were adopted in 2014, one area of focus was on staff's approach to determining parkland dedications and associated fees in lieu, as well as the form and timing of payment. Most often, a fee is paid in lieu of land dedication, rather than the physical dedication of a park on site. The process has been working well and is reasonable and predictable. However, the timing of fee payment for new subdivisions does not always align with the time of construction and has been somewhat difficult to track. For example, if the fee is paid at plat recording, then they come in for a building permit. We have to check the subdivision records to make sure the fees were paid. Sometimes there's a major time lapse between the two. Subdivisions are oftentimes established far before development occurs, and fees may not be reflective of the current market at time of development. In addition, requiring payment in the form of a certified check is found to be outdated practice. The slide shown on the screen shows the current language found in City Code Section 26-414A-4E, and it currently reads as follows. Form and timing of cash in lieu payment. Cash in lieu payments shall be paid to the city by certified check and deposited in the city account to be used solely for the acquisition, development, or improvement of parks, open space, bicycle and pedestrian trails, and related facilities. For subdivisions, payment shall be made at time the plat is recorded. For development, payment shall be made prior to the building permit issuance. As mentioned earlier, this code amendment is a follow-up to a study session that was held with the City Council on June 1st, where Council gave staff direction to proceed with an amendment. This slide shows the proposed language recommended by staff and illustrates the proposed changes with text striked to be removed and added text in bold. Section 26-414A-4E would be edited to read as follows. Form and timing of cash in lieu payment. Cash in lieu payments shall be paid to the city and deposited in the city account to be used solely for the acquisition, development, or improvement of parks, open space, bicycle, pedestrian trails, and related facilities. For development and subdivisions, payment shall be made prior to building permit issuance. Staff has found that subdivisions are oftentimes established far before development occurs, and it is better correlated at time of building permit. Thus, staff is recommending approval to amend the subdivision regulations to require cash in lieu payment to be made prior to building permit issuance for all development, including new subdivisions. As you may recall, we discussed the form and timing of cash in lieu payment at a study session on June 1st, where we mostly discussed the timing issue. Staff has added the recommended edits related to form by certified check. The code currently requires the cash in lieu payment for park fees in the form of a certified check, which creates an unnecessary step for applicants and does not always reflect current practice. This is not a code requirement for any other fee in the Community Development Department. Because park fees will now likely be paid in much smaller increments and with building permit fees, and because building permit fees are not paid by certified check, this code amendment also removes the requirement for that certified check. Staff has the ability to use discretion and require a certified check for substantial fees when necessary, without this being a codified requirement. In terms of process, as I mentioned, this was discussed in a City Council study session on June 1st, and staff has proceeded as directed. Because the amendment affects the zoning code, the Planning Commission has jurisdiction as well, and they reviewed the proposal at a public hearing on July 2nd. There was no public comment during or in advance of that hearing, and the Commission recommended approval by a vote of 7-0. On July 27th, City Council will make the ultimate decision on this ordinance at the public hearing. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance. This concludes my staff presentation. Thank you.